welcome to the inaugural session of the TravTalk Middle East ThinkTank. Today, we want to understand from both of you, our two industry experts, on when demand will return and will demand protect the profitability of the industry. So, will demand return or pricing return? And will businesses have to sacrifice rates to regain the demand or regain the numbers coming in? That's what we want to understand. Should the industry keep the pricing that they had 6 months back, or do they now drastically need to crash the pricing? So the Middle East industry has weathered many storms in the past as well. It has many uncertain times. Yet the region continues to invest in tourism, aviation, hospitality like nowhere else in the world. We see growth is still in the market. We see lots of hotels in the pipeline, especially in Saudi Arabia also. So the market is still looking promising. We know there will be a recovery. The question is not how the recovery will happen. It's about when the recovery will happen and what lies ahead. So today we have with us Mr. Nasir Jamal Khan, Managing Director, Nirvana Travels and Tourism, and Mr. Saleem Sharif, CEO, ATS Travels. Thank you both for being here with us. So Mr. Sharif, let me start with you. If you had to describe the Middle East travel industry in one sentence, what would it be?
First of all, thank you for getting me on board for this very important session, and thanks a lot for hearing our views as well. How would we describe the travel industry in the Middle East in one word? I wouldn't say resilient. I wouldn't say, upbeat. I wouldn't say, the industry that, rebounds and comes up to speed, and also the industry that, and makes its efforts to ensure that, all the lost grounds are gained as quickly as possible. I would see Middle East travel industry more as a laboratory, laboratory where, everything is being tested. Gone are the days when, Middle East used to follow the herd and follow the trend of what travel and tourism is across the globe. Today, everything starts from Middle East. Everything starts from the UAE. Everything starts from this region. Be it, any kind of new initiatives in the airport, new economic activity that is related to travel industry, or anything that is, coming new in the travel space starts from the Middle East. And so today, I would consider our space more as a laboratory rather than, something that, follows the herd and, goes along with the market.
I love that. I love that we are a trend starter laboratory. That's amazing. I love how you've coined that. I think that's excellent. Nasir sir, what concerns you most about the next 12 months? What worries you?
You see, first of all, again, thank you very much for having me on board today. Actually, I just landed and I'm half asleep right now. I was on a flight. However, you see, how I look at it is that the 2025, for example, was one of the years that continuously showed a positive growth in the industry. For example, in 2025, hotel occupancy rates in UAE were almost about 80 to 85%. And 2026 also started with a very strong start with 3% growth year on year. However, I think everybody will agree, and it's very obvious, the greatest concern that we have right now is the continued geopolitical operational uncertainty. I think that is causing the havoc everywhere. Otherwise, as Saleem said, I would also like to add UAE, Middle East, especially UAE, they are now the leaders in the travel and tourism industry all over the world. And instead of them following others, now there are a lot of countries within the region and outside the region, they are following the footsteps of UAE. So the strength remains here. The leadership remains in UAE and in the Middle East. However, the concerns that have been there since March, I would say, is mainly the geopolitical operational uncertainty. Otherwise, what I see now, even when we look at the GDS figures, when we look at the available capacity, airline capacity that we have, or seat factors that we have, I believe they have picked up very well. And also, we are waiting for the rest of the airlines to start. And I believe we will regain the market very quickly. But of course, we will discuss further about how, as you mentioned, what about how to maintain the pricing, the cost, and the rest of the manage rest of the issues. Yeah.
I'm going to come into that topic also right away. But I must say, the other day I was looking at an Etihad flight and it was sold out for the whole week. I couldn't get one seat on that aircraft. So I absolutely agree with you. I think you are at capacity. We are all at capacity right now with the airlines. And just currently getting seats is a challenge. So, Nasir sir, we want to keep you at this and say, do you believe businesses will have to reduce the pricing to stimulate demand, or should the industry hold on to its ground and protect its rate until demand naturally returns back? What advice would you have for the industry on
In
that?
my personal opinion, I would strongly advise against price reduction at this point of time. I will strong the reason is that the airlines and the hotels, of course, right now hotels within UAE, we understand the pricing factor here. But then again, we need to understand how the airlines will sustain, you know, if they reduce the prices at this point of time. Of course, there should be tactical fares. Of course, there should be IT fares, and there should be, I would say, a selective and tactical stimulation should be there. I'm not saying that we should not do that, but in order to sustain, I strongly recommend not to reduce pricing because the discounting may create temporary volume, but it will damage the customer expectations and long-term profitability. So what also happens is once the market is used to heavily discounting pricing, restoring rates becomes very, very difficult. Then it's become a very big challenge to restore it. What I would recommend is that what the airlines or the tour operators or the hotels should work together, and the value-added packages they can offer rather than direct reductions. And they can order benefit, which is happening now. If you see a number of airlines, they are offering free booking change, for example, and no penalties if you cancel the booking. Some of the airlines are adopting this method. And they can also they are offering benefits such as meals, attractions, flexible changes, as I mentioned, or they are even offering additional baggage allowance, loyalty programs, IT fares. Yes, that can be done. But again, reducing pricing, it's not going to be healthy for anybody. And even if we reduce the price, it is not going to generate a additional high percentage of travel, because right now what travel is taking place is what is essential. You have to travel, you will travel, whether it is leisure or it is business or it is family and friends and whatsoever. So again, the tactical offers based on booking levels and available capacity, again, that is required. At present, yes, there are few airlines, they are offering tactical fares, they are based on their capacity and availability of seats. I believe that is the only way forward other than reducing the pricing till we see a clear picture in the near future. I think same thing applies with the hotels, and they are actually doing tactical promotions at the moment. Lastly, I would like to say the industry should compete on overall value, not simply who can offer the lowest price. I think this is the best thing to move forward.
Absolutely agreed. I think overall value is what the industry needs to focus on. Saleem sir, let's get you into this conversation, please. Um, if the rates start falling, and we've seen a reduction in hotel costs, room rates, for example, how difficult will it be to increase them again? Have If travelers start becoming accustomed to discounting, then where does that leave the industry?
Actually, Nasser Saab has actually, told the entire story of how the price war impacts the industry, impacts travel, impacts the entire ecosystem. Yeah. Uh, you're right. You rightly said, never should there be an attempt, to gain customers or gain business by reducing price. If you reduce price, customers are always going to look for that opportunity, when the price is going to go down, and then try to make a booking or try to use that particular service. Yeah, which is not healthy for our industry at all. As you rightly said, value proposition is the most important thing that we need to, give to our customers. You train a customer with pricing, he's not going to, last long with you. He's going to definitely shop around and look at where he gets the best deal, and then, he moves out. There's no loyalty at all. What I would probably say is, we need to, as an industry, try to give value to the customer. Yeah, try to give a value from which he will never leave you or never go to any other competition. He will stick with what you have, and he will be your loyal customer. So I would probably say that value proposition is more important than reducing pricing. Yeah, as Nasir said, pricing always impacts or creates a challenge for the industry to grow. Airlines today, if they reduce prices, we know the costs that are involved in, airline operations. We know the cost that is involved in, running a hotel. Even if there is no occupancy, even if the hotel is closed, you need to spend 60% of the cost to maintain the electricity, maintain, all infrastructure running, and ensure that, the property is ready when, the demand comes. So there is cost involved everywhere, and there is no use of, having a price war, reducing the price, and then trying to gain customers. Yeah, that's not going to help at all. Value proposition is the most important thing. And if the industry recognizes this and tries to, offer the right value to the customers at the right price, I'm sure there'll be no challenge, when there is any kind of, a situation like how it has happened during the first quarter of this year.
Perfect. So I'm going to ask you another question here. Um, do you think our sales strategies across the board, across all different travel verticals, have become too dependent on pricing? Do you think that is because the industry is following those footsteps currently?
Unfortunately, yes. Yeah. Our industry has the habit of panicking and, doing some kind of distress sale, trying to reduce margins and trying to, gain business. It's no longer that equation. It's not going to last. It's not going to be sustainable, for our industry. Today, if we are going to go on a price war, no one is going to win. Yeah.
Yes.
Ultimately, everyone is going to lose, and it is going to impact business across. What we should probably do is ensure that, we, as I said earlier, give the right value to our customers, and ensure that we don't bother about customer satisfaction, rather look at customer confidence. How confident are they with you? That how confident are you that your customer will come back to you and will not go anywhere else? The moment you are in a price war, you're always, jittery, and you feel that your customer is going to leave you and go. Whereas if you have a structured and well-defined, value proposition on the table for the customer, you are sure, you're confident that the customer will not leave you and go. Yeah. So you need to be highly judgmental in terms of, offering the right value proposition to the customer, and they are going to be with you forever.
Perfect. Thank you, sir. Nasir, sir, we are going to put you exactly in the spotlight with this question and ask you, how do we bring the travelers back? What is that advice that you have saying this will work?
I think Saleem has just covered this question and the answer, basically. I believe again, UAE is the strongest market in the world. It's well placed, it's well known, and we being in the travel industry, we travel around the world, and we could see that everywhere in the world, whether it is east or west, everybody is planning to travel to UAE, travel to Dubai, correct?
Absolutely.
So that is already placed very well. However, right now, the question again is the geopolitical issue at the moment. And there are fluctuations, you know. I would say that there is a very obvious example here. In the last 1 month, I would say there has been particularly no disturbance, and you could see the revival, very obvious revival. As I mentioned, the GDS segments, if you see, it's already recovered from the available capacity. They have recovered almost by 75% or 80%. In some areas, talking about the outbound travel from here, some of the corporate, if you look at it, they have recovered almost, some of the companies I'm talking about, some of the corporates, they have recovered only also 100%. So that is already in place. The only thing that we have to do is take some measures to restore the confidence of the travelers to UAE and outside UAE. Now, if you see Emirates Airlines and Etihad also, they are now offering a complimentary travel insurance to attract the passengers, to give them the confidence that they are fully covered. Especially from the Western market, if you see, people would not travel without a travel insurance. And when they are having a travel is available GCC or Middle East at the moment. So there is a reluctance. So people are reluctant to travel into a, but Emirates and Etihad, they have taken a fantastic step, and they are offering now a complimentary insurance, and the details are available on that. Secondly, the again, we just spoke about the pricing, but at the same time, I would say that uh, I've been to 3, 4 different countries in the last couple of weeks, and everywhere people are saying, oh, it's hot, it's humid in Dubai, it's hot in Dubai, but let's go, we are getting extremely good deals. Now, this will create a temporary fill in the pockets temporarily, but in the long run, I would say that how do we sustain ourselves, the travel agents, the tour operators, the hotels, they are facing huge difficulties in terms of pricing right now, I mean, in cost of operations, if I may say. So the fuel is gone up by 40%. The insurance is gone up by certain percentage. I don't have the right figures. So the cost of operation is very high at the moment for whether it is a hotel or a travel agent or an airline or anybody else within the industry.
So
So
I just want
whoever,
to bring in another this topic for you here. Is I know everyone is working together, they are collaborating, but is there any other kind of collaboration that you want airlines, hotels, travel companies, destinations to be doing together to bring that messaging out more clearly to the international markets? Do you think we are, especially because you've recently traveled and you've met
yes,
people abroad, do you think the messaging for the Middle East or for Dubai is or UAE is in the right place? Or do you think that messaging and that collaboration needs to be stronger currently?
definitely the collaboration has to be much more stronger than it was ever before. The industry needs to move from individual recovery, because we are in a recovery phase, recovery initiatives, to a coordinated destination recovery model, I would suggest. So airlines, tourism authorities, hotels, destination management companies should jointly identify priority source markets and build integrated campaigns to those markets. So this is definitely going to enhance the confidence level of the passengers in and out of UAE. So the joint airline, hotel, transfer and attraction packages could be very attractive, could be very positive move. market-specific campaigns rather than generic global promotions that we always do would be ideal. I would also recommend the consistent communication. So this is very, very, very important. I think this should be the most important factor here. The consistent communication, especially during the disruptions. So the customers, they receive accurate information or close to accurate information, because we cannot always give 100% accurate information because of the fluctuation of the situation. I would say the greater cooperation with travel agents who provide market intelligence, distribution, I think that will be ideal in my point of view. Lastly, the travel companies must be involved at the planning stage rather than being approached only after airlines, hotels, and destinations have already designed their campaigns. So this is the time we, as a travel agents or tour operators, we are the backbone of the industry. If you see, there are direct sales for airlines and hotels, but majority of the sale is still happening through the travel agents, still happening through the tour operators. And we are the eyes and ears of the market. We also should be part of planning. So I would say that the travel companies must be involved at the planning stage, the primary stage, rather than we are approached or we are just given the promotional informations and packages. So I think we should also get involved, or hotels and airlines should involve us before making any decisions, especially at this point of time.
Absolutely agreed, sir. You also spoke about tourism boards, but I'm going to come to that a little later. I just want to bring in Mr. Saleem right now. And sir, Nasir sir spoke about priority source markets. What, according to you, should be priority source markets for the Middle East over the next 2 years? Should it be India, China, Russia, or Europe, Africa? Where should the travel, like, where do you think business is coming from?
To be frank, none of these. Yeah. We should not be identifying separate markets or separate countries or each country. It doesn't work that way at all. I mean, it used to during the past, when there used to be strategic advantages of engaging with one particular region or one particular country. Today, that has totally changed. That shift has happened. It is not country specific. It's going to be based on the profile of the passengers or the clients that are, going to travel. You have medical tourism, you have cultural tourism, you have got Gen Z, the online nomads, who look at different opportunities online, you being one of them. And, so you need to cater to this kind of the profile of people rather than looking at individual destinations. Individual destinations today doesn't hold good, as these you need to prepare yourself with the products and services that are unique, that would be picked up by different categories of people. Yeah, that will only ensure that travel businesses become successful. If you concentrate on one particular country, put all your eggs in that basket, and then try to promote it. Tomorrow, if there is some geopolitical incident that's happening, all your efforts are going to be wasted. Yeah. So it is not prudent enough, to go country-wise. It's always better to go segment-wise. Target your, the segments that are the most, low-lying fruits for you, for each individual business. Yeah, it may vary from one agency to the other agency. So each one look at what would be the best, profile of customers that they are catering to, and then offer products and services that help them to promote that particular destination or that particular activity. Yeah, so there is no point in offering summer the packages to clients sitting in Dubai. Yeah, because he is already enjoying summer here. You need to look at different experiences that they can enjoy. And that is what will help to sell your products and services. Otherwise, you're not going to be successful.
And so, looking at recovery, what segment do you think will recover the quickest? Would it be MICE? Would it be leisure, luxury? Would the airlines make their recovery first? So, what would you presume where do you think the industry will start recovering from?
From my point of view, I think industry will recover where there is scarcity of products. Yeah,
Yeah.
where there is scarcity. If there is no scarcity, the recovery is going to take a long time. Scarcity by the means that we are in the luxury travel space, and we know that luxury is not rampant. It's not available everywhere, and quite fast we were able to recover, and we were able to sell luxury products in the marketplace. Likewise, when airlines were starting operations, we found only Emirates operating, the national carriers operating. We found there's scarcity for upper class seats, business class and first class seats. There was tremendous kind of demand for these. Yeah, so it is again going to be segment wise. It's not going to be industry wise. That we can see that there's going to be an uptick. So I feel it's going to be more where there's scarcity. Those are the sectors that are going to pick up.
And anything that you want the industry to be doing differently from what they are doing currently? Anything that you feel that they are doing, they should, something needs to change. What would that one thing be?
Change is the only constant thing in this world. Yeah.
Yes.
And if you do not change, if you do not innovate, if you do not look at things in a different perspective, try to do things in a different manner, we are all going to fail. Yeah. And that has been our philosophy as well. I mean, we've been in business for about 5 decades now, and always we have been on the constant lookout for how we can be different in the marketplace, and that has helped us, in achieving our targets or goals. So what I feel is, if we do not affect that change, there is going to be a challenge. You're not going to be successful at all.
Perfect. Thank you. Nasir sir, we'll bring you in. I want to understand from you, what role do the international tourism boards play now? What messaging do you want to tell them? Because they also look at you for a lot of advice. So what would you want to tell them currently?
You see, the international tourism boards, they play a major role in promoting any destinations that they are representing. Without their presence and without their support, the inbound or outbound tour operators alone cannot manage the market, cannot push the business alone. At the same time, the airlines are also like a national carrier when they are operating between the two countries. This is a bridge, creating a bridge between the two countries, and it accelerates the sales and the attraction to that destination, or both ways, I would say. However, the most important thing for the tourism boards is that they need to be constantly present in the markets. They should not disappear. I have seen some of the tourism boards, they only come during the ATMs. They just do the road show. They just meet certain travel agents, and then they just leave. And there is a huge gap after that. So that is something will not help them, or will not help them to generate or maintain the business, generate additional business, or maintain the flow of business that they have. So most important message is, please be present. Your constant presence is very important. Not only presence, your constant activities, your interaction with the market. So if the tourism boards, they are not present by themselves, they need to have very strong representatives based in different countries, especially talking about UAE. So I believe that they play a major role, especially when it comes to investment as well. Alone, travel agents or tour operators cannot keep investing from their side. So their investment in terms of marketing, their investment in terms of creating awareness is critical. Otherwise, they will not have that, and they should be fully informed and updated. There are certain tourism boards, they visit us here and they have a visa problem. They keep pushing us, push the business, but when we talk about visa issues, long waiting periods and long visa processes and very painful visa processes, they do not have answers. So I think they should be fully equipped and present in the market by themselves. and or by the way of having a representative in the market. I think this is critical.
Amazing. Thank you. Um, Moving on to another big, what do you, okay, from a long-term perspective, what do you think will be some of the biggest challenges that the industry will face? This is keeping in mind that we are not talking about the geopolitical situation that we are currently in. But do you think there will be problems like manpower shortage? Because he's seeing a lot of talent also moving into different markets. There are rising operational costs, there are consumer confidence, there is regional uncertainty as well, AI and technology, and
Yeah.
sustainability expectations. So, what do you think the industry should now train themselves for in this period?
I think Saleem has highlighted this earlier,
Yes.
that the we need to innovate. We need to change. We need to get out of this traditional way of doing business. So there are, first of all, we spoke about the pricing, the
Yes.
competition, and when we reduce the pricing, when we cut, it's a cutthroat market sometimes, and that's where the quality of service goes down, the profitability goes down, whereas the cost of operation is going up. We just spoke about the fuel pricing. Now, the fuel, for example, the price that is gone up, I don't see it's going down very soon. It's not, it seems that it won't happen at least for the next 6 to 9 months or maybe more. So how do we manage the cost? So number one problem is the cost. We just spoke about AI. So, okay, some people say AI will help you to reduce manpower. It's again something which will definitely take time. How to retain quality staff, how to retain experienced staff, how to ma manage your costs. Now, if you want to hire entry level staff, this is not a problem. It is still available. But if you want experienced staff, it is a big challenge. See what happened during the COVID. A lot of people have lost their jobs, and when the situation was better, business was back. We were looking for staff, and most of the people, whether they were airline employees, whether they were pilots or travel agency staff, they have gotten into different business streams. Some people actually started entirely different jobs, entirely different businesses, and they never came back, whether it is airport handling operations and whether it is travel agents or airlines. So, having said that, we need to maintain or retain the quality staff that we have. We should not lose them at all, and we should keep them up to date with trainings. We should equip them all the equipments that is required to conduct the business. So if we do not do that, we are going to lose the manpower, we are going to lose the market share, and we are going to lose our presence in the market. So I believe what we need to do is we need to be in a position where we can sustain the cost right now. Anybody who is capable of managing and sustaining during this period with the high cost, they will definitely have a better future. But at the same time, during this time, see, a lot of hotels, they close down, and also they either fully close down or they partly closed down, but they are using this time period to renovate the hotels, getting into renovation mode. Similarly, we also have time, the travel agents and airlines, we also have time to take certain actions which can enhance our presence in the market, which can enhance the knowledge of our staff, which can enhance the experience of our clients. I think this is a good time. At the same time, we have difficulties, but it's a good time to take number of actions for a better future.
Perfect. Thank you, sir. Mr. Saleem, I want to bring you also into this topic now. What do you feel would be the industry's biggest challenge moving forward? So, in a long term, where do you think would be the potential roadblock that the industry can already prepare for? And I also want to, in this, ask you what would be key in rebuilding customer trust and confidence?
Oh, actually, Nasser has actually, hit the bullseye, and he has, in fact, told exactly what challenges we are facing, and what if we do not do, where we'll get stuck, and how the industry is going to get bogged down. Yeah, this applies to everyone that is within this ecosystem. These challenges can be overcome only by reinventing yourself, looking at how differently you can be in the marketplace, and how not doing the same thing again and facing the same result changes, the way you think of doing things in the future. For instance, I've been in this industry in this country for about 3 decades now, and these challenges have been there right from day one. Yeah, it is not something that pops up all of a sudden. Our industry has been inundated with several challenges, even from the days when we used to have handwritten tickets to how BSP came, how the commissions were cancelled, and then how the COVID came, recession happened. So many things have happened, and then still the resilience that the industry has shown and the way the industry has tried to reinvent itself and present itself in a different manner, that has helped companies to sustain and be successful over the past. This challenge is going to be even more tougher and difficult in the future. With the induction of AI, people think there's going to be cost reduction, there's going to be lesser dependency on quality stuff, things are going to be automated, everything is going to be easy. No, it's not going to be that way at all. Yeah, AI is there, yes, for sure. But then how do you make use of this AI? How do you make use of the opportunities that are surfacing with these tools of AI? That matters more than how the AI itself is going to bring a dent in this industry. Now, with regards to trust factor, when everything goes well, trust is always there. Trust comes into play only when there are challenges and when the client is in trouble. Yeah. For instance, when someone is stuck in some airport or some situation, the first 10-15 minutes is crucial. So when he calls his preferred travel agent or the agent who has booked his trip, are you there for him? Are you there to ensure that you have a solution for him when he is in trouble? That is where trust comes into play. The most important thing here is transparency. How transparent are you with your customers? How transparent are you when it comes to real-time challenges? And how are you able to communicate this with your customer and ensure that you're there for him no matter what? Yeah. Speed of service is another important thing. Yeah, if you're there and you're not able to offer products and services within the stipulated time or the SLAs that you have already, agreed with the dotted line, then there is going to be a challenge. And of course, taking ownership. There is no point in wriggling out of any tough situation, especially our industry. There are a lot of challenges. We are not the ones who are, offering the service. We are only middlemen. We offer other people's service as a middleman, and obviously we do not have control over what that particular service delivery is going to be. And that when there is a failure of service delivery, are you willing to take ownership? Are you willing to ensure that you take remedial or corrective steps and ensure that the customer is taken care of in the shortest possible time? That matters a lot, and that is where trust comes into play.
Perfect. Thank you, sir. Mr. Nasir, I'm going to get you in on the next question. So this morning we had a meeting with WTTC, and they have said that the Middle East market will start making a recovery by the end of the year, and by next year it will be fully recovered. They are very hopeful and positive about their data and statistics based on this conversation. So I want to ask you, when we are sitting at a think tank next July, what will the market look like?
Okay, so my expectation is that by July 2027, UAE travel demand will have largely recovered, provided again the region experiences sustained geopolitical stability. This is very, very important, and reliable air connectivity through the coming winter seasons. However, I would not expect every segment of the market and business to recover at the same pace. It's not going to happen in my observation. As Saleem said earlier, luxury and premium travel should be performing strongly by then, even if it is still performing very, very strongly. Looking at the price sensitive leisure travel, it will recover in volume. But customers will continue searching for value, flexibility, and packaged offers that we have already discussed. And I think we need to seriously consider that and offer the same thing. Again, most importantly, the demand may recover before profitability recovers, because we just spoke about the pricing, cost of operation, sorry. So therefore, the demand, yes, it looks like demand will recover, but the profitability fully recovers. This is something which we cannot predict now. It all depends on the cost of operation, especially the fuel pricing. So even when passenger numbers and hotel occupancy returns, still, as I said, the demand, as I said, will recover, but profitability is a challenge. It's a big question mark, even when the hotels have very high occupancy. As I said, in 2025, it was 85% occupancy rate in UAE. So even if we reach 85%, will we recover the cost or profitability? So that is something different. The correct strategy is to restore travelers' confidence, protect sustainable pricing. I would say stimulate demand and selectively retained experienced manpower. If we do that and collaborate around one strong UAE destination proposition, we have discussed that how we as travel agents should be part of the planning and strategy together with the airlines and hotels and other vendors. So this is something very, very important. I think the UAE has the infrastructure, airlines, hospitality products, government support, and global reputation required to recover strongly. So I am very positive. I think we are all very positive with regards to this. Lastly, I would like to say demand will return, but demand recovery and profitability recovery should not be confused. We should not confuse between that. So let's be prepared for the demand to be recovered. And let's hope it's followed by the recovery of profitability, depending on the situation and the fuel pricing.
Perfect. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. Mr. Saleem, can we get you in as well? And I know we've not given you the heads up on this, but if you could tell us a little bit about the Saudi market also, we would appreciate just getting some direction on where that market is headed as well. But first, about the UAE market, what would next July look like according to you?
As I said earlier, I mean, Nasir Saab has actually, said it again very well, and he has highlighted how profitability and, demand may not be directly proportionate, and there could be a mismatch there. Yeah, for sure. As I said, I've been in this industry for about 3 decades now in this country, and every time we have made a prediction, it has either gone wrong or we have been off target. Yeah, it is very difficult to predict what is happening here. But the good news is that none of us have suffered like, or gone back to the days when, during the tough times that we have suffered. Yeah, like for instance, COVID. When COVID happened, yes, we all went back. And again, these kind of questions arose as to where are we going to reach? How are we going to, recover and come back to speed? But we've done that. Yeah, in a matter of 1 or 2 years, we have done that. Many businesses were able to predict exactly where they are going to reach, and they have achieved. Some have not, but then eventually, the industry as such has grown, and we have almost been there. And that has been the case whenever there has been any kind of setbacks. And again, here, July, if you're all there in the industry and if you're all working by that time, hopefully it should be, much better than what it is now. More because I'm a diehard optimist and I look at things in a very, positive manner. In fact, I've in one of previous chats with you also have said that last quarter of this year is going to be, something good for us, provided, the geopolitical situation stabilizes. Yeah. Saudi market, we have made great inroads into that market. We are now one of the largest travel management companies managing some of the most high-profile accounts. And as we speak today, we are still being invited by most of the top PIF accounts to, sign up with them. And we are happy to let you know that we have, signed more than about 12 PIF entities, and we manage them 100%. Having said,
yeah, congratulations
having,
on that. Yeah.
Thank you so much. Having said, Saudi market is very sensitive in terms of pricing, and the yield or the transaction fees that we are able to get is not very encouraging. But if we are able to sustain and offer the right value, as I said earlier, then the customers are able to understand that and also engage with you for solutions that are totally different in the marketplace. I would like to cite a very important example here. We started managing one of the high-profile PIF accounts, NEOM, and we took it over from one of the largest TMCs that was managing it. And then we engaged with the client and we offered them a separate value in terms of creating a totally new online booking tool, specially catered to their requirement. So there we saw what value the client is looking for, ensured that we aligned ourselves with what they require, and then we created this technological, innovative tool, offered it to them. And today, as we speak, we are the exclusive TMC managing NEOM with this particular tool, and more than 90% of their bookings come through this tool. So where yields go down, where you're not able to make proper money as how you would want to, there are opportunities, there are avenues, there are chances where you can do that, provided you innovate, you try to look at how best you can offer solutions to your customers in the right manner in which the customer wants those solutions. So that's where I see the industry heading. Yeah.
Okay. So I'm going to keep you on the spotlight and ask you some rapid fire questions. I have 3 or 4 quick questions and I want you to respond very quickly as well to them. One destination in the region which according to you has the biggest untapped potential?
Jordan. Yeah, Jordan is definitely a great destination, and I feel that will emerge as a huge destination. Yes.
Amazing. Corporate or leisure, what will recover first?
Corporate.
Corporate. Perfect. One travel trend that everyone is underestimating.
The adoption of AI. Yeah, it is something that still people look at it in a very skeptical manner, especially our industry. And our industry, many of the stakeholders within our industry, I've spoken to them. They say they look at it in a very skeptical manner. They say, yeah, AI is coming, but I don't think that is going to bring major dent. That the understanding that AI is a very powerful tool. If you do not adopt it, if you do not make proper use of it now, you'll be left out. And it's not just replacing your team members or replacing your work processes. It is making use of AI in the right possible manner as to how you can, provide the right solution to your customers. That is where you need to use AI.
And so one mistake that the industry must avoid.
We've been speaking about it right from the beginning today. Undercutting, reducing your cost, reducing your pricing. It's something that industry should never do. Never the belt under pressure and never, reduce your prices. Discounting game is a tough choice where you are only going to lose, you'll never gain.
Perfect. Thank you, sir. Now I'm going to put Mr. Nasir on the hot seat and ask him quick rapid fire questions before we go to the closing. So one word that would describe the next 12 months for you.
I would say sustainability.
Perfect. Which market excites you the most?
I would say Japan and Mexico.
Wow, love it. One opportunity that the industry isn't talking about enough.
We are not exploring different destinations, which as I just mentioned, Mexico, Japan, and there are a number of other destinations which we are not exploring. For example, during this the disturbance that we had during March and even April, there were certain routes and airspaces were closed, and therefore a lot of travel to those destinations was not happening. But there were other destinations where the airspace was open and people would have been confidently traveling. We did not look at that. I think we should explore more into those destinations. And again, as I said, as Saleem also mentioned, the cutthroat situation has to be, I think, removed forever. We have to stop discounting. We have to stop undercutting. We have to stop competing, because where is the end? If we
Okay,
keep
that I'm going to ask you in your last rapid fire question, which is, if you could change one thing about the travel industry overnight, what would it be?
the same thing, we have to stop undercutting and stop competing unnecessarily with each other. We should compete with quality. We should compete with experience. We should compete by understanding the customer satisfaction and the customer's need. Kareem just gave you an example for like NEOM. They introduced a travel management solution to them, and that was what the client was looking for. So understand client's need, whether it is leisure or luxury or corporate. So once we understand that, I think we should deliver accordingly and not by price cutting down the or undercutting each other. I think that has to be completely stopped.
Perfect. Thank you, sir. Now we're going to move into our closing section and the closing remarks. Mr. Saleem, I'm going to ask you first. So if somebody turned around and asked me to talk about the industry, I would turn to both of you, because I think you both are the gurus of the industry. You know the industry like no one else, and you've seen every challenge and you've recovered beautifully from every challenge. So if you had the attention of every hotel CEO, airline CEO, and travel company owner for 1 minute, what would you tell them? Mr. Sharif, first, let's get your response and then we'll move to Mr. Nasir.
Collaborate more deeply with travel management companies. Yeah. We've been used as carpets, by all these suppliers. And that is the saddest part of the whole business that we are in. Unfortunately, I don't want to use unparliamentary words here, but the way they treat travel management companies is not right. Although they get the entire business from us, we influence the customers. We, try to offer solutions. We invest in technologies. We invest in processes. We invest in talent. We invest in human assets. We ensure that, we bring processes that bring value to the customers. We try to connect different suppliers, different airlines, different hotels, different, resorts, and give value to our customers. We are doing all the hard work promoting, all these, principles, as we say. And unfortunately, we do not see that kind of, support or that kind of pat at the back. Forget about, compensating us. That is also not there. As we said earlier, when we used to get commission from airlines, we used to make some money there. But then that also stopped. They said, now use hike up and sell whatever you want. When we started doing that, then they started offering the same thing on their website, which again was a big challenge to us. Ultimately, they have left us high and dry, trying to make us, work hard for every dime that we make, which has become a big challenge. Yeah. I would like, on behalf of the entire industry, to request airlines, hotels, and all other, principles that we as travel management companies promote, to be a little more considerate and ensure that, a little part of what they make is given to us as well. Otherwise, sustaining and, progressing in the future becomes a big challenge.
Okay, thank you, sir. Nasir, sir, final closing remarks from you on what you would want to tell every CEO out there.
All right, Saleem, you have left nothing for me to say, but I still have like to add something here. See, it's almost the same message that I have. We are incurring the costs, as Saleem mentioned, and I won't go in details. But what is happening here, whether it's an airline or it is hotel industry, they have access and they are directly selling to the customers. They are approaching the customers directly. They have corporate deals in place and they have online their own websites which are giving different rates and fares. When it comes to us, these corporate deals and direct incentives are directly going to the customer. We are very happy for that. But where is the benefit for the travel agents? Where is the benefit for tour operators? The whole benefit is going to the customer and they are benefiting and the airline or the hotel industry is benefiting. Where is the benefit for us? So this is a very big question mark. Of course, let's be frank, there are PLBs and incentive deals in the market, but that doesn't help that much or does not help us to cover the cost to the extent. Again, I go back, we still have the same issue in the market. People get PLBs and then again they have to share it or discount it with the customer. So everything goes to the customer. So they have to consider very seriously our support. And honestly speaking, we just said mainly major business to the hotels, mainly, and the airline is through the travel industry. That's why we are existing here. Whether it is an OTA or it is in a traditional travel agent, whatever it is. But if we are not looked after, all right, then there will be a challenge for them. For example, Saleem just mentioned we had the 9% commission long time back. I also grew up in Saudi Arabia, so I spent half of my life there. So according to Saudi industry, there used to be 12% commission on Saudi airlines for the travel agents. Then it became 9 on different airlines, then it became 7, then 5, and now we have no commission at all. So we have to mark up, and this has to be transparent. So where is the travel agent or tour operator left in this case? So I think if we do not support and they cannot survive without us, because again, look at BSP, for example, IATA. We have now to pay the BSP every 7 days. Am I right, Saleem? This is a 7 days case. And now we are into corporate business. We are extending credit periods and credit limits to our customers. This is our job. Of course, we are happy to do that. But then again, we get paid within 60 days, for example, but we have to imagine how many cycles we have paid in advance to the BSP. So having said that, we are actually indirectly also working as a travel agent and also working as a bank, which is supporting the industry on behalf of the airlines, on behalf of the hotels, on behalf of the other vendors. I think it's very painful to see that we are not looked after the way the industry should look at us. They are depending on us, and but they are not compensating us the way they should. So I think it's a very clear message that if they take care of their supporters like us, they will benefit more, and we will also benefit, and the quality of service will even enhance.
Perfect. Thank you, sirs. Thank you, both of you, for taking the time out and being here with us today. I think our discussion's been extremely meaningful, and we are waiting to write all about it and showcase the video on Travel TV. Really appreciate the time and effort that you've taken out, and really thank you so much.